Did you know with globalization and automation, many industries will go out of business in the near future? Maybe next year your company will have to diversify and add a new product or a service line. The question is, can you face the upcoming challenges with your existing workforce? Companies realize that under most challenging circumstances, the cost of acquiring new employees often comes with the cost of giving up old and loyal employees, demotivated staff, and toxic work culture. Are you ready to bear all that cost? Why not take the smart approach and upskill the existing ones by switching to EdWatch? With easy-to-watch self-paced short lessons, flexible live classes with progress review and manager reporting on our LMS, convenience of multiple languages, live Q&A with trainers, emotional intelligence support and career coaching services, keeping your staff high on skills was never this simple. Plus, our modular assessments with 60% passing criterion ensures credibility of the certification. Strive and thrive with EdWatch, your online resource partner.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. This is Jawad Nagda, your trainer for Microsoft Power BI training program being introduced by EdWatch. So I'll begin with a quick discussion on my profile. Basically, I come from an accounting, audit, finance, and analytics background. So I'm a hardcore finance and accounting professional with the membership of ACCA and CIMA with me. I have over 17 years of experience with, having been involved in the corporate world with lots of different companies in Pakistan and in Saudi Arabia. And that the last 5 years of my career, I have been focusing mainly topic of data analytics, data financial modeling, business intelligence. So I'm collaborating with EdWatch to introduce a specific training program to help you learn more about Microsoft Power BI. And before we talk about what Power BI really is, we're going to take a step back and learn about what business intelligence is. So if you see this picture right in front of you, my question to you would be, what do you see in this picture? Do you see a circle, or do you see a square, or do you see a drum? And which one is correct? What do you think? I think most people would guess it correctly, that the circle is true and the square is also true. But if you look at the larger picture, that neither this is a circle nor this is a square, but it is a rectangle, and you are only able to see this because you stepped out a little bit and you were able to look into multiple perspectives at the same time. Now that is something which pretty much explains you the objectivity of business intelligence, how it works. Right. So you were to ask this question: what is business intelligence? Now, obviously, Power BI is one of the leading players. In fact, is the leading player in the market when we talk about the business intelligence tools. And this is precisely the reason why we are focusing on Microsoft Power BI for this course. But this tool exists to, deliver a particular functionality called business intelligence. So before we learn about Microsoft Power BI, it will be important for us to know more about what business intelligence generally is. So business intelligence, we can think of it as a process, technology, or a tool that helps you convert your raw data into profitable business actions. Now, obviously, it's not going to happen with a click of a button. It's a whole process which starts with the definition of the problem, and then you move ahead to decide the measurement planning. उसके बाद आप डेटा आइडेंटिफाई करते हैं, डेटा सोर्सेस को कनेक्ट करते हैं, उसको ट्रांसफॉर्म करते हैं, फिर उसकी मॉडलिंग होगी, फिर उसमें डैक्स बेसिस एक्सप्रेशंस या कोई भी और लैंग्वेज या कोडिंग अप्लाई होगी जिससे आप अपने एनालिसिस के काम को मुकम्मल करेंगे, एंड देन फाइनली कम्स द विजुअलाइजेशन पार्ट. Now, with the visualization part as well, the process does not end here, because this is where the process really begins, because the visualization only exists to help communicate our observations or our insights to our business users or our business audience more effectively. Now, once we start communicating the business insights from there onwards, we will be focusing on the progression towards the action plan that come as a result of the insights generated by any tool or any system. So, carrying on with my slides here, business intelligence can also be thought of as something that encompasses data warehousing, data analytics, and knowledge management. And when we talk about knowledge management, all of those things become part and parcel, like the analysis, the storytelling, and then from there onwards, it will be about coming up with the management action plan, setting up the KPIs, and then monitoring the progress towards the achievement of goals. Because ultimately, no analyst gets paid to perform data analysis or data visualization, but rather the analysts are getting paid to drive profitable business actions, which is much more than what we will be covering as part of the Microsoft Power BI tool. So, talking about the importance of business intelligence, obviously, if you look at the leading journals or leading platforms, for instance, like LinkedIn or Indeed, because those are really strong network of potential employment or employees, and you'll see. I mean, even if you look at the World Economic Forum reports or you look at any other magazines like Forbes, you'll see that most of these, when highlighting desirable skills for the ongoing decade, the 2022 and beyond, uh, while they, there'll be a number of skills that are relevant, and most of them will have something related to technology or digitalization as a central core of it. Analytics, data familiarity, being more data savvy is one skill that always features in every such journal. This tells you that the scope of the skill in the times to come will always grow rather than shrink, because to attain competition, across are facing this challenge in to adopt more data savvy culture. And business intelligence is nothing new. I mean, as a concept, as a process, I mean, all you need ultimately, if you keep technology for the time being outside of the discussion, then all you are talking about is a way to source or secure your data and then apply all the different process of analysis on your data to obtain critical insights from this, and then apply those insights in driving business forward. Now, this concept obviously has been in place for era even before 1900s. Military or educational institutions would have been deeply with such practices long before. I think the only change that has come by over a period of time is that technology has made a number of things possible which were previously not. So, from being a function, access selected companies के पास होता था because it was highly costly activity, and with the adventure of with the innovation or with the invention of computer technology in the first place, and then communication or internet protocols, and then now recently as we are going through a number of transformations based on user experience and graphic user interfaces, then now we are all wave of the things. So business intelligence की अगर बात की जाए तो I think business intelligence की probably today we are in the fourth wave. We started with something जो exclusive to certain companies है, not to everyone, to becoming something जो कि काफी सारी companies को accessible हो गया. but within the companies, only specialist people like people from IT background would be involved in creating such kind of solutions or reports. And then we had another advancement where it kind of became a functional role, like her department or her function में कोई एक specialist analyst बनाया जा सकता है. But now, in this fourth wave, those tools have become so much more powerful. The topic or the buzzword now is the self-service business intelligence. Like if you are the end user, you can create your own business intelligence solution provided you have the access to the necessary data sources. And that's precisely why this tool like Power BI has come to the forefront, because it has made those solutions, applying those solutions of business intelligence so easy and intuitive that even the end user now can self-serve himself. So that's the background. Talking further about why business intelligence, obviously there are lots of reasons. We don't want to get into the details of each and every reason, but in the short, we are now living in a world where data is growing phenomenally. Every day, it is said that there is 2.5 quintillion bytes of data that is being produced. And 2.5 quintillion bytes literally means there are 18 zeros following the 2.5. And I'm not exactly sure how much is that really, because it says not million or billion, it says quintillion. But that's quite a lot of data. Now, what is more is that only 30% of that data is being analyzed according to some stats driven from Gartner. That only 30% of that data is being analyzed, and approximately only 5% of the data results in actionable business insights. Now, this tells you that there is a lot of opportunity in the corporate world, because we are living in an age where the size of data is continuously growing. It's becoming enormous, like Microsoft Excel, the legacy Excel you know of, can become painful. They have their own limitations, and you are likely to encounter with those limitations very soon if you're dealing in a big data environment. So that is one thing, how to handle the big data. And then another thing is, the bigger the data, the tougher it is to communicate the findings from the data to somebody else. Going through data is never an easy job. I mean, you have to go through the data first yourself, and then you have to take your audience through that. So obviously, if you're dealing with the traditional matrix style reports, जिसमें आप numbers को जो है column and rows में या tabular structure में reports बना के present करते हैं, so it's going to take longer to surf through a certain amount of data. Whereas अगर हम visualization के principle को adopt करें, तो उससे bigger data को skim through karna becomes much more smoother and much more faster. So these two, I mean, the big data handling and driving business insights from a large amount of data are the primary reasons why you would want to have, or you would want to consider business intelligence. I have certain questions written in front of you. If you're thinking about whether business intelligence is relevant or not relevant for you, then in this case, I would refer you to this slide. There are a number of questions written here. You might want to go through the list and check if you answer yes to one or more of these questions, then chances are that you are very much in need of a business intelligence solution. So from my perspective, the most common objectivity of business intelligence from the perspective of any organization or any department is, purposes. I mean, think about the finance department of any organization. उनको अपनी final management जिसमें वो सारी reporting और सारे angles को कर रहे हैं, including the cash flow statement. So they need a number of data sources to make it happen. Some of the data, or most of the data, might coming from the central ERP itself, but not all. Some have a separate HR database, some companies have a separate POS, some companies might have a separate online or web. The company is a digital business, they might have an e-commerce site, or if the company is socially very active, they might be running a lot of campaigns on social media. तो आपके पास डेटा जो है वो मुख्तलिफ सोर्सेज से आ रहा होता है. अब वो सारे डेटा को एक जगह पे एक सेंट्रल इकोसिस्टम डिजाइंड वे में स्ट्रक्चर्ड वे में पुल इन करना और इस पूरे प्रोसेस को ऑटोमेट करना. इफ यू वांट टू रिपीट दिस प्रोसेस ऑन अ वीकली बेसिस और ऑन अ क्वार्टरली और मंथली बेसिस, तो बजाय इसके कि हर बार आप ये काम मैन्युअली करें, डेटा को डाउनलोड करने के बाद ट्रांसफॉर्म करें और ट्रांसफॉर्म करने के बाद उसको मैन्युअली एक्सेल पर स्टिच together करें, because you need to connect the tables together to make the information work for you. So इस पूरे प्रोसेस में आप काफी टाइम स्पेंड करते हैं every month, every week or every quarter, whatever your timelines are. Now to make this process automated and much more simpler and smoother, business intelligence tools can come in really, really handy. And the second most important and useful information, useful benefit of business intelligence solution is that once you develop a central data ecosystem, the entire organization from there becomes much more easier. You can literally allow access to a number of people on a real-time basis. So you don't have to send emails back and forth. And then you or your business colleagues, they are looking at the simple single source of information. You can coordinate, collaborate with each other on real-time basis, and you can also leverage the impeccable power of artificial intelligence that is being made available in Power BI. So for instance, think of कि आपके पास अगर डेटा है और आपको ये भी नहीं पता कि उसको मुझे एनालाइज कैसे करना है और इनसाइट्स कैसे ड्राइव करनी है उनसे, तो आप एआई की कैपेबिलिटीज को यूज करके सिंपल बटन क्लिक से ना सिर्फ ये कि अपने एनालिसिस भी परफॉर्म कर सकते हैं, बल्कि उन एनालिसिस से इनसाइट भी ड्राइव कर सकते हैं. मूविंग फॉरवर्ड, टॉक अबाउट पावर बीआई, बिकॉज अभी हमने जो बात की बिजनेस इंटेलिजेंस की, तो हमने ये समझ लिया कि बिजनेस इंटेलिजेंस का मतलब सिर्फ डेटा को सोर्स करके डैशबोर्ड बनाना नहीं होता. ये एक प्राइमरी और एक बुनियादी टास्क है जो कि बिजनेस इंटेलिजेंस में आपको करना पड़ता है. बट द प्रोसेस एक्चुअली starts well ahead of that with the definition of business problem, and it ends much far completing the dashboard only. तो आपको डैशबोर्ड बनाने के बाद उस डैशबोर्ड के ऊपर अपने बिजनेस ऑडियंस के साथ कम्युनिकेशन और कोरिस्पॉन्डेंस भी करनी है, एक्शन प्लान्स बनाने हैं और फिर उन एक्शन प्लान्स को ट्रैक करना है टू मेक श्योर that the business is getting the right kind of benefits. With this background in mind, when you talk about what Power BI really is, then Power BI is a collection of not just a single but number of applications that work together to give you a holistic perspective. So for instance, Power BI desktop का आप नाम सुनेंगे, जो आपको अलाउ करता है कि आप डेटा सोर्सेज से कनेक्ट करें, उसको ट्रांसफॉर्म करें, एनालाइज करें और उससे डैशबोर्ड्स बनाएं. बट देन यू हैव अ पावर बीआई मोबाइल, जो कि आपको मोबाइल पर रिपोर्टिंग सॉल्यूशंस डिजाइन करके डिलीवर करने में हेल्पफुल रहता है. एंड देन यू आल्सो हैव पावर बीआई सर्विस, जो कि आपको क्लाउड पर डेटा और डैशबोर्ड होस्ट करके आगे अपनी ऑडियंस को सर्व करने में हेल्प आउट करता है. But if you want to do this on premises rather than on cloud, so we have Power BI gateways for data connectivities, and we also have Power BI report server for the servicing within the organization. All of that, this put together, gives you a complete package of business intelligence. उसके बाद अगर हम बात करें तो Power BI में, क्योंकि Power BI desktop is basically the fundamental tool जिससे आप सारा काम करते हैं. आगे अगर आपने मोबाइल पे पब्लिश करना है या वेबसाइट पे पब्लिश करना है या आपने ऑन सर्वर ऑन साइट रिपोर्टिंग सर्वर पे सर्व करना है, वो सब थर्ड फेज ऑफ द प्रोसेस है. द फर्स्ट प्रोसेस विल ऑलवेज बी विद द पावर बीआई डेस्कटॉप. सो हमारा जो कोर्स होगा वो फोकस कर रहा होगा पावर बीआई डेस्कटॉप पर. एंड पावर बीआई वर्कफ्लो है जिसमें हम सबसे पहले पावर क्यूरी, जो कि पावर बीआई डेस्कटॉप को कवर करेंगे. दैट टू इज अबाउट connecting to data sources and transforming or automating process. तो पावर क्यूरी से हम स्टार्ट करेंगे, उसको कवर करने के बाद फिर विल मूव टू दी पावर, व्हिच इज काइंड ऑफ, यू कैन आल्सो कॉल इट डेटा मॉडलिंग. तो उसमें आप जो भी डेटा सेट्स आपने कनेक्ट किए हैं उनको आपने मॉडल करके एक RDBMS यानी कि रिलेशनल डेटाबेस मॉडल बनाना होता है. देन यू यूज दैट RDBMS फॉर फर्दर reporting and visualization purposes. So we'll go through That's going to take a lot of time. The beautiful thing about the business intelligence like Power BI, Tableau, Oracle, Google Data Studio, एक बात होती है कि ये लो कोडिंग कोडिंग एनवायरनमेंट ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल लेवल स्ट्रक्चर में नहीं बल्कि हैज़र्ड मैनर में कोई थोड़ा सा अनस्ट्रक्चर्ड डेटा के साथ डील करने वाली बात है. Power BI may not be really a helpful source for that, and for these kind of things, web scraping या आप कहने के अगर आप ऑप्टिकल रिकग्निशन या आप कंप्यूटर विजन इस टाइप की चीज़ों को यूज़ करना चाहते हैं, आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस के मॉडल्स यानी कि मशीन लर्निंग डीप लर्निंग के मॉडल्स को फॉलो करना चाहते हैं, so for things, Python and R might be more relevant and more useful than Power BI, but Power BI की अगर बात की जाए तो बड़ी ज़्यादा relevant होता है for corporate professionals because it has a smaller learning curve as well as it is very powerful when it comes to delivering on a business intelligence front, which means analyzing your company's data in multi-dimensional ways to unearth crucial business insights and drive the business better. कोर्स की अगर बात की जाए तो हमारे कोर्स में BI में बहुत सारी एप्लीकेशंस होती हैं. हमारा फोकस जो रहेगा वो बेसिकली पावर BI डेस्कटॉप के ऊपर रहेगा and we'll be covering the desktop introduction in detail. Then we'll be going through Power Query, data modeling, DAX, which is kind of a formula library available inside of DAX, inside of Power BI, as well as it can be accessed in Excel. तो जो कुछ भी आप यहाँ Power BI के कोर्स में सीखेंगे वो आपका रहेगा. So and then finally we'll move to data visualization for reporting and talk about the best practices of data visualization as well. So all of these लिस्ट इन फ्रंट ऑफ यू जो 6 नाम सामने आ रहे हैं, ये 6 मॉड्यूल्स होंगे और हर मॉड्यूल में हम फिर मल्टीपल टॉपिक्स को या उस मॉड्यूल से रिलेटेड जितने भी इंपॉर्टेंट टॉपिक्स हैं उसको डिटेल में प्रैक्टिकल प्रोजेक्ट बेस्ड एनवायरनमेंट में कवर करेंगे. एक स्टैंडर्ड प्रोजेक्ट होगा हमारा जो कि एक फिक्टिशियस बाईसाइकिल एंड रिलेटेड एक्सेसरीज या पार्ट्स मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कंपनी है अक्रॉस यूएस. दे आर selling to the masses using a number of branches or a number of stores in different states. तो उसका काफ़ी डायनामिक किस्म का डेटा सेट है हमारे पास 10 डिफरेंट टेबल्स का, और उस डेटा सेट को यूज़ करते हुए हम इस पूरे टूल्स की सारी चीज़ों को मास्टर करते चले जाएंगे. सो आवर जॉब विल बी लाइक कि आप जैसे कि बिजनेस इंटेलिजेंस के एनालिस्ट हैं उस कंपनी के, और अब आपने उस कंपनी के लिए एक नहीं दो नहीं बल्कि 3-4 डैशबोर्ड अलग अलग तरीके के बनाने हैं. तो उनमें से कुछ डैशबोर्ड्स मैं आपके साथ क्लास में हैंड्स ऑन बनाऊंगा और कुछ डैशबोर्ड आपको दे रहा हूँ ताकि आपकी प्रैक्टिस ज़्यादा अच्छे तरीके से हो सके। प्रिंसिपल जो प्राइम प्रोजेक्ट होगा हमारा, उसको कवर करने के बाद हम अपने कोर्स को एंड के कुछ स्पेसिफिक रिपोर्ट्स के हवाले से बात करके, क्योंकि अगर आप फाइनेंस बैकग्राउंड से आपका ताल्लुक है, फाइनेंस डिपार्टमेंट अक्रॉस द कंपनी दे हैव सर्टेन स्पेसिफिक रिक्वायरमेंट्स, तो उसके लिए आपको कुछ खास टिप्स एंड ट्रिक्स का मालूम होना बहुत ज़रूरी है, दैट विल हेल्प यू prepare balance sheets, P&L, cash flow statements, and financial ratios kind of reports of BI much more easily. So ultimately, if you go through this course with us and you follow along the recipe that will be shared with you along the journey, we expect that you would or you should get a minimum of these benefits listed over here. Key capability to help your company improve its management and operational processes should get increased. You should be in a position to help the businesses answer important questions easily and timely. You might be able to eliminate the waste. आमतौर पे अगर हर डिपार्टमेंट अपने अपने साइलोज में डेटाबेसेस मेंटेन रखते हैं, तो उनमें एक प्रॉब्लम ये होता है कि आपके पास डिफरेंट वर्जन ऑफ द ट्रुथ्स आ रहे होते हैं। तो अगर आप इसकी जगह एक सेंट्रल डेटा का इकोसिस्टम डिजाइन कर लें और सबको वहीं से सर्व करें, तो आप सिंगल सोर्स ऑफ ट्रुथ तक पहुंच सकते हैं। अगर आप बिजनेस इंटेलिजेंस टूल्स को मास्टर कर लेते हैं और डेटा एनालिटिक्स की स्किल्स को समझ लेते हैं, तो आपके लिए प्रेडिक्टिव मॉडल्स बनाना जो आप करते हैं बिकम्स इजियर। एंड मोस्ट इम्पोर्टेंट इज दैट आप ऑटोमेशन भी अचीव कर सकते हैं। आप अपनी स्टोरी, बिकॉज डेटा बिजनेस इंटेलिजेंस टूल्स आर डेटा विजुअलाइजेशन, एंड डेटा विजुअलाइजेशन कम्स इन really when you have to visualize the data, you have to communicate a story, then visualization comes in really handy. So आपकी स्टोरी टेलिंग कैपेबिलिटीज भी इंप्रूव हो सकती हैं और आप रियल टाइम एनालिसिस कर सकते हैं, यानी कि जैसे जैसे बिजनेस एक्टिविटी, जैसे जैसे बिजनेस ट्रांजैक्शन पोस्ट होती जा रही है, वैसे वैसे आप अपने एनालिसिस को या अपने डैशबोर्ड्स को अपडेटेड होता हुआ देख सकते हैं। And that's pretty much about it from my side for today's session. If we have any questions that I should answer, please let me know. I'll be happy to answer those.